Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications because we're diving into some of the most interesting stories in K-pop and pop culture. Today, we're talking about something that literally broke the internet last week, and honestly, when I first saw it, I couldn't believe how much buzz this was generating. We're talking about BTSJimin and his car choice at the airport. I know what you're thinking, a car? Really? But trust me, by the end of this video, you're going to understand exactly why this moment is so much bigger than just a celebrity and their ride. So let me set the scene for you. It's February 2nd, 2026, Incheon International Airport in South Korea. Fans are lined up with their cameras ready because BTS is heading out for an international schedule. We're talking about one of the biggest boy bands in the world, right? These guys have performed at stadiums, they've been to the White House, they've broken countless records. So naturally, everyone's expecting the full celebrity treatment. Designer outfits, luxury everything, you know the drill. But then Jimin steps out of his car, and immediately, people start freaking out. Not because of what he's wearing, not because of who he's with, but because of the vehicle he just stepped out of. It was a Kia Carnival. And if you're not familiar, that's basically a minivan. Like, the kind of car your mom drives to pick you up from school. I'm not even exaggerating. Within 2 hours, and I actually went back and checked the numbers on this, within 2 hours, videos of this moment had already hit 10 million views. 10 million! The hashtags were trending #1 worldwide on Twitter. People were losing their minds. And I sat there thinking, okay, what am I missing here? Why is everyone so shocked that he showed up in a regular car? But then I started digging deeper, and that's when I realized this is actually a really big deal, and it tells us so much about who Jimin is as a person and what's happening in celebrity culture right now. Let me give you some context about K-pop and celebrity culture in Korea, because this is important. In the K-pop industry, image is everything. And I mean everything. These idols are literally trained for years before they even debut. They learn how to walk, how to talk, how to smile, what to wear, how to present themselves in public. Every single detail is managed and curated, and part of that image is showing success. When K-pop idols make it big, you expect to see them in designer brands head to toe, carrying luxury bags, and yes, arriving in expensive cars. We're talking Mercedes, BMW, sometimes even Rolls-Royce or Bentley. It's not just about personal preference, it's about showing fans and the public that you've made it, that you're living the dream. So when Jimin shows up in a Kia Carnival, which by the way starts at around $40,000 to $50,000 depending on the options, that's like the price of a Honda Odyssey or Toyota Sienna here in the States, people were genuinely shocked. For reference, Jimin could easily afford a car that costs $500,000 or more without even thinking about it. This is a guy who's part of a group that has generated billions in revenue, who has a personal net worth estimated in the millions, who wears custom Dior to fashion shows. He could literally buy any car he wants. But he chose a family minivan. Now, let me tell you about the Kia Carnival for those of you who aren't familiar with it. In South Korea, this is like the ultimate family car. It's what parents buy when they need something spacious and practical. It's got sliding doors, tons of room inside. It's reliable, it's comfortable. It's marketed to families, not celebrities. The version Jimin has is nice, don't get me wrong. It's got leather seats, all the modern tech, but it's still fundamentally a practical vehicle designed for everyday use. And that's exactly the point. The reactions from fans were absolutely incredible to watch unfold in real time. I was scrolling through Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and the comments were just pouring in from all over the world. American fans were saying things like, "Finally, a celebrity who doesn't feel the need to show off," or "This is why we love him, he's so down to earth." European fans were praising the practicality and even bringing up environmental consciousness, noting that he didn't choose some gas-guzzling luxury SUV. Asian fans were expressing pride in seeing their idol stay humble despite all his success. But what really struck me was the common thread running through all these different reactions from different cultures. Everyone was talking about authenticity. That's the word that kept coming up over and over again. Authentic. And here's the thing that a lot of people don't realize. This isn't even the first time Jimin's been spotted using this exact car. If you go back through fan photos and videos from the past year, there are multiple instances of him arriving at or leaving from various locations in this same Kia Carnival. Staff members who've worked with BTS have mentioned in interviews that while the group uses luxury vans for official schedules and public appearances, Jimin has consistently chosen this particular vehicle for his personal transportation. Some fans have theorized that maybe it was a gift from a family member, someone who wanted him to have reliable transportation without all the flash and attention that comes with a luxury vehicle. Other people think it's just a practical choice from someone who genuinely values function over form. What makes this airport appearance even more significant is the timing. This wasn't just any random schedule or casual outing. Jimin and the rest of BTS were heading to Dubai as part of their preparation for what is literally being called the biggest comeback in K-pop history. After all the members completed their mandatory military service, after years of being apart from the stage, BTS is coming back with their new album Ararang dropping March 20th, 2026. They've got a world tour planned with 79 shows across 34 cities. The pre-orders for this album have already broken records. Tour tickets sold out in hours. Every single thing these guys do right now is being watched by millions of people around the world. So think about it from that perspective. This could have been the perfect moment for a grand entrance. Jimin could have showed up in the most expensive, flashiest car imaginable, really driving home the point that BTS is back and they're at the top of the game. Instead, he rolled up in a Kia Carnival. And honestly, I think that says so much more than any luxury vehicle ever could. It's like he's saying, success doesn't have to change who you are. You can be at the absolute pinnacle of global entertainment and still make choices based on what actually makes sense for you rather than what looks impressive to other people. Now let's talk about the ripple effects of this moment because they were wild. Within 24 hours of these videos going viral, Kia Motors started seeing a measurable increase in interest for the Carnival model, especially in international markets. Dealerships in South Korea reported getting more inquiries about the vehicle, and get this, multiple people specifically mentioned that they wanted the same model as Jimin. Like, that's the power we're talking about here. Online automotive forums that normally would never mention a K-pop idol suddenly had threads discussing the Kia Carnival's features with references to Jimin. Industry analysts estimated that he basically gave Kia millions of dollars worth of free advertising without any official endorsement deal or sponsorship. And this isn't a new phenomenon for Jimin specifically. He's actually earned this reputation among fans and brands as the sold-out king. I'm not making this up. Items that he's been photographed wearing or using have this tendency to sell out almost immediately, sometimes within literal minutes of the photos going online. There was this hoodie he wore casually in an Instagram post, sold out across multiple retailers within hours. A particular wallet from Dior that he was spotted with, completely sold out. A specific style of backpack from a streetwear brand gone. The Jimin effect is real, and it's powerful. But here's what makes the Kia Carnival situation different from all those other instances. Those were fashion items, luxury goods, things that were already targeting the same demographic as BTS fans. This is a family minivan. The fact that a family vehicle generated this much enthusiasm and this much genuine interest tells us something deeper is going on here. This isn't just about fans wanting to copy their idol style. This is about people responding to what that choice represents. Let's talk about what it represents, because I think this is really the heart of why this story matters. In American culture, and really in a lot of cultures around the world, we have this complicated relationship with wealth and success. On one hand, we celebrate it. We love seeing people achieve their dreams and make it big. Rags to riches stories are like catnip to us. But on the other hand, we're also really suspicious of people who seem out of touch or who flaunt their wealth in ways that feel excessive or insensitive. We want our celebrities to be successful, but we also want them to stay relatable and down to earth. And that's a really hard balance to strike, especially in the age of social media where everything is documented and shared. We're living in this era of performative luxury where influencers rent exotic cars and designer items just to create content, where every aspect of life gets curated to project maximum success and status. It's exhausting, honestly, and I think a lot of people are tired of it. So when someone like Jimin, who has every reason to engage in that performative luxury, who could absolutely get away with showing up in the most expensive car imaginable, instead chooses a practical minivan, it feels almost revolutionary. There was this moment captured on video that really drove this home for me. As Jimin was getting out of the carnival and heading toward the airport terminal, you can see him turn back and bow respectfully to his driver. It's maybe a 2-second moment, super brief, but fans absolutely latched onto it. Because it shows something fundamental about his character. He treats people with respect regardless of their position or role. The driver isn't just the help to him. It's another human being deserving of courtesy and consideration. And that small gesture, combined with his choice of vehicle, paints this picture of someone who hasn't let success change the core of who he is. For fans who have followed Jimin's career from the beginning, this wasn't surprising at all. There are countless stories about his kindness and humility, staying late to sign autographs when other members had already left, anonymous hospital visits and donations, treating staff members and crew with the same warmth and respect he shows to executives and VIPs. The Kia Carnival moment felt like confirmation of what they'd always believed about him. But I think this resonates beyond just existing fans. For younger people watching this, especially those who are still forming their ideas about success and what matters in life, Jimin's example provides a really important alternative narrative. Because most of what we see in media and entertainment tells us that success means luxury, that you need to constantly upgrade every aspect of your life, that your worth is somehow tied to the price tags of your possessions. And here's someone at the absolute top of his field saying, actually, no. A comfortable, practical car that serves my needs is perfectly fine. I don't need a Lamborghini to validate my success. The educational value of that cannot be overstated. These are lessons that many people don't learn until way later in life, if they learn them at all. The idea that practicality can be more valuable than prestige, that you don't have to prove anything to anyone, that comfort and reliability might matter more than status symbols. Seeing those values modeled by someone as successful and globally recognized as Jimin can genuinely influence how young people think about money, success, and what kind of person they want to be. Now, I want to address something that I've seen come up in some of the discussions about this. Some people have said, okay, but it's easy to be humble when you're that rich and successful. Like, anyone can choose a modest car when they could afford 10 expensive ones if they wanted. And look, I get that argument, but I also think it misses the point. The reality is that most people in Jimin's position don't make this choice. Most celebrities, once they reach that level of success, do upgrade every aspect of their lifestyle. They do buy the expensive cars and the massive houses and all the luxury items, not necessarily because they're bad people, but because that's what the culture of celebrity encourages and expects. So the fact that Jimin consistently chooses differently, not just once for a good photo op but repeatedly over time, that's significant. It shows a level of self-awareness and groundedness that's genuinely rare in the entertainment industry. It shows that he's thought about what he values and what serves him, and he's chosen to prioritize those things over external validation or keeping up appearances. There's also a cultural element here that's worth understanding. In Korean culture, there's this concept called nunchi, which roughly translates to social awareness or the ability to read the room. It's about being mindful of how your actions and choices affect the people around you and being sensitive to the broader context you're operating in. Showing up in an extremely expensive luxury vehicle while many hardworking people in Korea are dealing with economic pressures and uncertainty that could be seen as tone-deaf or unnecessarily showy. By choosing a vehicle that's accessible to regular families, Jimin demonstrates that cultural sensitivity. He maintains a connection to the everyday experiences of ordinary people rather than separating himself into this untouchable celebrity bubble. And I think this is part of why BTS, as a whole, has been so successful globally. All 7 members have maintained remarkably grounded lifestyles despite their enormous wealth. They've made smart investments, they've taken care of their families, they've engaged in meaningful philanthropy, but none of them are known for excessive displays of wealth or living particularly flashy lifestyles by celebrity standards. That consistency across the group suggests these values were established early in their careers and have been reinforced throughout their journey together. The conversation that emerged from this moment evolved into something much bigger than just a car. I saw think pieces and entertainment media analyzing what this says about the changing nature of celebrity in the social media age. Marketing professionals discussing how organic moments like this can have more impact than traditional celebrity endorsements. Even psychologists weighing in on why this particular story resonated so strongly across different cultures and demographics. What started as fans noticing Jimin's car became this larger cultural conversation about authenticity, values, and what we want from the people we admire and look up to. And I think the timing of this is important to acknowledge. We're in 2026, and a lot of people around the world are dealing with economic uncertainty, inflation, concerns about their financial future. The wealth gap keeps getting wider. There's growing frustration with displays of excessive luxury when so many people are struggling to make ends meet. In this context, seeing someone who belongs to the ultra-wealthy category making modest, practical choices feels refreshing. It doesn't solve systemic economic problems, obviously, but it does provide a different model of what success can look like. One that doesn't require abandoning your values or losing touch with reality. The authenticity of this moment is what gives it power. If this felt like a calculated PR move or a temporary gesture for good publicity, it wouldn't have resonated the same way. But the fact that Jimin has been consistently using this vehicle, that he wasn't doing it specifically for this high-profile airport appearance, but just making his normal choice, that's what makes it meaningful. It transforms a simple transportation decision into a genuine statement about character. Let me share some of the comments that really stuck with me from this whole situation. One person wrote, "I'm not even a BTS fan, but this made me respect Jimin so much. In a world where everyone's trying to flex on Instagram, this guy is just being real." Another comment said, "My parents drive a Kia Carnival, and seeing that someone as successful as Jimin chooses the same car makes me feel proud instead of embarrassed about our family car." That second one really got me, because it shows how representation matters, even in unexpected ways. How many kids feel pressure about not having the coolest or most expensive things, and here's one of the biggest stars in the world showing them that those things don't define your worth. There were also some really thoughtful comments from people in the automotive industry and marketing world. One marketing analyst wrote that the single organic moment probably did more for Kia's brand perception among young people than a multi-million-dollar advertising campaign could have achieved. Another person in the car business noted that the Carnival has always been a great vehicle, but it suffered from an image problem of being seen as just a boring family car. Jimin's choice might actually help shift that perception and introduce the model to buyers who never would have considered it before. The videos themselves have continued to accumulate views in the days since this happened. Some of them are now well over 20 million views. And if you read through the comments, you see the same themes over and over. Respect, authenticity, humility, down to earth. These are the words people use to describe not just this moment, but their overall impression of Jimin. And in an industry where scandals and controversies are unfortunately common, where fans are often disappointed when they learn the truth about their idols, this kind of consistently positive perception is incredibly valuable. I also want to point out how this fits into the larger narrative of BTS's relationship with their fans and the public. From the very beginning, even when they were just starting out and not yet famous, BTS has emphasized authenticity and connection over maintaining some untouchable idol image. They've shared their struggles, their doubts, their mental health challenges. They've talked openly about the pressure and difficulties of fame. They've created content that shows them as real people with quirks and flaws, not just polished performers. This approach was unusual in K-pop when they started, and it's a big part of why they've built such a devoted global fan base. Jimin's Kia Carnival moment fits perfectly into that established pattern. It's another example of choosing authenticity over artifice, of being comfortable with who you are rather than trying to perform some idealized version of celebrity. And I think fans appreciate that consistency. They can trust that what they're seeing is genuine because it aligns with everything they've observed about these guys over the years. Now, as someone who covers pop culture and celebrity news, I have to say this story stands out precisely because it's not dramatic or scandalous. In a landscape where we're so used to shocking revelations, feuds, controversies, and carefully orchestrated publicity stunts, here's something that's shocking simply because it's refreshingly normal. A successful artist making a practical choice for practical reasons. Someone who's confident enough in who they are that they don't need external symbols to validate their worth. That's actually kind of radical in today's celebrity culture. The fact that millions of people watched those videos, shared those posts, and felt genuinely moved by seeing Jimin step out of a Kia Carnival tells us something important about what we're collectively hungry for right now. We want authenticity. We want to see that success doesn't have to corrupt or change people. We want proof that it's possible to achieve your dreams without becoming someone unrecognizable in the process. And Jimin, whether intentionally or just by being himself, provided that proof. As BTS moves forward with their comeback and world tour, I'll be really interested to see how moments like this continue to shape their narrative and public perception. The music and performances will obviously be the main focus, and I have no doubt they're going to absolutely kill it. But these smaller moments, these glimpses of who they are as people when the cameras aren't rolling, or when they're just going about their regular lives, these matter too. They build trust and connection in ways that even the most impressive stage production can't achieve. What's particularly interesting to me is how this moment has sparked conversations in unexpected places. I've seen parents in parenting forums talking about how they're using this as a teaching moment with their kids about values and choices. Teachers mentioning that they brought up the story in discussions about media literacy and critical thinking, asking students to consider why this became news and what it says about our society's values. Financial advisors and wealth management professionals using it as an example of smart thinking about money, pointing out that just because you can afford something doesn't mean you should buy it. There's also been fascinating discussion in automotive and design communities about what makes a vehicle valuable beyond its price tag. People who work in transportation and vehicle design have pointed out that the Kia Carnival actually represents some of the best thinking in automotive engineering. It's designed to solve real problems that real people face, maximizing space efficiency, ensuring safety, providing comfort for long journeys. In many ways, it's a more thoughtful piece of design than many luxury vehicles that prioritize aesthetics and brand prestige over actual functionality. Jimin's choice, whether he intended this or not, has helped elevate appreciation for good design and engineering over mere brand status. I've also noticed conversations emerging about sustainability and environmental responsibility. While the Kia Carnival isn't an electric vehicle, it's significantly more fuel efficient than many of the large luxury SUVs that celebrities typically favor. Some environmental advocates have pointed out that Jimin's choice represents a more responsible approach to personal transportation. He's choosing a vehicle that's appropriate for his actual needs rather than defaulting to the biggest, most powerful, most resource-intensive option available. In an era where climate change and environmental sustainability are increasingly urgent concerns, these choices matter, and having influential figures model more responsible consumption patterns can have real impact. The business implications of this moment extend beyond just Kia's sales numbers. Brand strategists and marketing experts have been analyzing what this tells us about the future of celebrity endorsements and influencer marketing. Traditional celebrity endorsement deals involve paying enormous sums of money for someone to appear in an ad or be photographed with a product. But here we have a situation where an organic, authentic choice by a celebrity generated more genuine interest and positive brand association than most paid campaigns could achieve. It raises interesting questions about what authenticity means in marketing and whether brands should focus more on aligning with celebrities whose values and choices naturally align with their products rather than simply paying for endorsements. So what's the takeaway from all of this? Why does Jimin's airport car choice shock fans worldwide? It's not about the car itself. The Kia Carnival is a fine vehicle, but it's not particularly remarkable or noteworthy on its own. What's shocking, what's remarkable, is what that choice represents in the context of celebrity culture and societal values. It represents a rejection of the idea that you need to constantly broadcast your success through material possessions. It represents staying true to your values, even when you have every excuse not to. It represents the kind of humility and groundedness that we claim to admire but rarely see modeled at the highest levels of fame and success. In a world that often feels increasingly artificial and performative, where social media has turned everyone into their own PR manager constantly curating an idealized image, authentic moments stand out. They remind us that underneath all the fame and fortune and carefully managed public personas, there are still real people making real choices based on what actually matters to them. And sometimes, what matters is having a comfortable, reliable car with good storage space and sliding doors. Not because you can afford better, but because better doesn't always mean more expensive. Sometimes better just means what works for you. That's the lesson from Jimin's Kia Carnival, and that's why this moment resonated with so many people across the world. It wasn't about the car. It was about glimpsing authentic humanity from someone we usually only see through the carefully constructed lens of global stardom. And in our current cultural moment, that kind of authenticity, that kind of groundedness, that's more valuable than any luxury brand could ever be. If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments what you think about this whole situation. Do you think celebrity culture is changing? Would you make the same choice as Jimin if you had that kind of success and wealth? And if you're not already subscribed, please hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss future videos where we dive deep into the stories behind the headlines. Until next time, stay authentic, stay true to yourself, and remember that your worth isn't determined by what you drive or what you own. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.